Okay, let's talk about Lauren, our lovely Tailor. So she knocked on the door just over 3 years ago and asked for the job. Can we teach her to do tailoring? She wants to make things. We said, yes, okay. This is very rare to find somebody who wants to come in and put all the effort in and the time it takes to learn how to sew correctly. So first day she comes in for just a trial so she could have a look how the workroom looked, whether she'd like to work in the workroom, in a small workroom, and work for our family business. Works both ways. It's got to work for her, it's got to work for us. So I gave her a thimble like mine, which has got the hole in the end, which is a proper tailor's thimble. And I said, well, this is how you have to sew. And so she had to get the thimble and push it through with the finger bent like this and sew that way. She was having a lot of difficulty with it and didn't feel right. And she said to me, so I'm really struggling with this. So I said, well, I did as well. It was funny enough, I had the same problem when I started my first day of my apprenticeship, when I started back in 1966. I had to do the same thing. They just gave me some cloth and a needle and just practice sewing. But unbeknown to the guys that were teaching me, when I was pushing the thimble through, I had my fingers straight instead of bent like that with the needle. So half the day was wasted. And I said, well, I can't sort of sew with my finger bent. So yes, you can. So they literally got some thread and tied my finger like that, bent round here with thread, tight, and then put the thimble on and said, right, now get on with it. So the whole afternoon, I then sat there, actually I was standing, in the old age you'd sit on a board. I was standing there just practicing sewing all the time, and eventually it became natural that I could do it. And Lauren had the same problem. And I remember her saying to me, she said, I don't think I'm going to get on with this thimble. And I said something like, I said, well, it's not a problem. I said, if you can't use the thimble, you just haven't got a job. I said, do you mean that? I said, yes, I do mean that. You've got to sew properly, Lauren. And of course now, after 3 years, she does. And she's put things out recently on social media where she's making these beautiful handmade buttonholes. Each buttonhole has nearly 100 stitches in it in silk. And you can see how she's learned to improve and get it better. And she's an absolute godsend to the company.